If you want me to oil up Carl Weathers, you give me the time to do it, damn it.
How's Action Anthony going?
Oh, I'm good.
And how's Squadcaster I8?
That's my nickname, so yeah, pretty good.
I tried to get Debbie to start calling me Action Anthony, and she did not like that idea.
She didn't like that? It kind of works, actually.
That's what I said.
If my name was Action Olen, I mean, I would love it.
Old fart Olen.
Hey, how dare you? We're the same age.
I know.
Welcome to the Too Old or Pure Gold Movie Podcast. In today's episode, we're discussing the 1988, possibly forgotten action movie, Action Jackson. The format of our podcast, two Gen Xers rewatch beloved movies from our youth to find out, are they really as good as we remember? To help us debate and ultimately pass judgment, we ask our millennial co-hosts to watch these movies for the first time and help us determine, are they too old or pure gold? I'm your host, Olen Vanderleeden, representing Gen X. Joining me today is my Gen X co-host, Mathew Stockton.
No action, Mathew? Or anything like that?
You're low on action, Mathew.
So is this movie.
Whoa!
Anyway, let's keep going.
Shots fired early. Representing the millennials this week, we have comedian and host of the absolutely obscure podcast, Josh Fleming.
Hey, thanks for having me back.
And
It's always nice to have you, Joshua.
Oh, thank you. Always nice to be here.
backing us up today, we have Millennial Anthony.
Morning, boys.
Anthony!
Before we get into this episode, just a reminder that we need your support to grow this podcast, so please remember to like, follow, subscribe, maybe tell someone about it. Today's movie is the 1988 action movie, Action Jackson. Action Jackson stars Carl Weathers, Craig T. Nelson, and early Sharon Stone in her first leading role. Was it leading? No, it's not leading. The movie was directed by Craig Baxley, who came up through the ranks as a stunt coordinator with credits including Predator, The A-Team, and Dukes of Hazzard. And to be honest, this kind of had a real A-Team vibe to me, so that makes sense. This movie was Baxley's directing debut, and after this he went on to be the go-to director for TV movies and action miniseries, including The Shining. Tagline from the movie poster is, "The name is Jackson, Action Jackson." Nice and tight. IMDb describes the film as, "Vengeance drives a tough Detroit cop to stay on the trail of a power-hungry auto magnate who is systematically eliminating his competition." That says it all. But for those of you that have not seen the movie, I asked my 93-year-old dad to watch Action Jackson and summarize the plot.
Action Jackson is a tough Detroit police officer that he was recently demoted for a legitimate but excessively rough takedown of a sexual predator, the son of Detroit industrialist Peter Delaplane. Delaplane declares war on Jackson by framing him for the murder of his wife. Fortunately, Jackson eludes his arrest and he goes after Delaplane with a vengeance. Being a fugitive, he can no longer rely on the police and assembles his own ragtag branch of allies to help him. He learns is that Delaplane has created a Jackson double to murder the president of the Automobile Association. And finally, an enraged Jackson is able to crush Delaplane in a famous scene where he drives a sports car up the fancy stairway all the way to the bedroom, where he kills Delaplane and rescues Sidney. Jackson is exonerated and re-promoted to lieutenant, and I really believe that he further develops the relationship with Sidney, and that's the story.
So my dad thinks he's banging the heroin addict.
That's a respectful way of putting it.
That is a respectful way. Let's get into it. What did you guys think of this movie?
I think it was first half Jackson, second half was more action. It was a slow build. I love Carl Weathers. The cast was good, but there was some holes that they did a bad job, I think, of. I don't know. It just Wait, I was expecting more action than
Yeah, the
Jackson.
title would lead you to think that. So I had to do this title. I just had it stuck in my head, and I legit haven't seen it since 1988. And I remember liking it. And honestly, this movie should have worked. You got Carl Weathers with the title Action Jackson. You can almost not fail, right? You got a great cast. 80s action movie. It should have worked. And I actually really enjoyed it still. But the problem is, the 80s was a wealth of cop movies, and if you really stack it up against the other movies, you can see maybe it didn't hit the mark. This was 1988, so you've got Beverly Hills Cop in 1984, Lethal Weapon 87, Die Hard 88, 48 Hours in 1982. So it was like this was a gold mine of a decade for action movies. But I had fun, and I watched the action scenes twice in this movie. I watched the whole movie, and then I went back and watched the action scenes again because I still can't help but like this movie.
Yeah, I enjoyed it too. I just think, kind of like you said, when there's a swell of a certain style of movie taking off, I think sometimes the plot in action movies always takes a back seat. So yeah, lots of the imagery is good, lots of the fight scenes I like, but yeah, I thought it's more about, hey, let's get them scene to scene, and so we can think of all these cool play out all these cool scenarios we came up with. I don't know that it was very juicy on the details.
I think you hit on something important there, and I think there's one or two reasons why this movie might not have worked, and I think you hit one right there. Mathew.
I was excited because of the name.
Of course. It gets you, right?
Like, Action Jackson sounds like it's going to be a force of nature, but the movie is like, I don't know, like a well-organized committee meeting with some punches, and it has the cardinal sin for an action film of talking more than there's action.
Yes.
Right? It's like just shut up and throw some punches, do a car chase. It just talks and talks and talks and talks, and frankly, like, I don't give a shit what they're talking about, right? Like, I just wanted the action. Yeah. And I think what happened, Olen, you were getting into it too. It's like late 80s American action cinema started to lose its nerve, and I think this movie is like shows really where it started to lose its nerve, where like the early 80s it was like anti-system forces and it was like big stuff, and this is like in this one, like, the institutions are kind of like, they're not the enemy, they're just sort of like mildly inconvenient, and I think it sort of sits in that weird place where they started losing their nerve before late 90s it got better again.
Yeah, I think so. I mean, there was definitely a change in Hollywood.
A movie like this kind of pisses me off more than just a random movie where I don't like it or I like it, whatever. I wanted to like this. They had all the ingredients to make me like it, and they still somehow fucked it up. And that's what
exactly. You're right, Anthony. It's like all the ingredients to make a perfect cake, and you pull it out of the oven, it's gone flattened, right?
Yeah, exactly.
It's like, but you're supposed to be chocolatey deliciousness.
Well, Carl Weathers
is chocolatey deliciousness. That body, oh my god, that actually saved the movie for me, at least. Yeah, he is fucking stacked.
Yeah.
I am not gay, and I still was taken.
Cranking one out.
Yeah. Yeah, I love a villain that's like, hey, let's chain this guy up and let's make sure he's real oily and good looking too while we do it.
Take a shirt off.
I know.
I love movies like that. You should come over and watch some movies with me sometime, big boy.
Sure.
I watched it with Kim, and she said in that scene, "Why did they oil him up before they torture him?"
Stop asking questions.
Oh my God. That is so funny. Okay, so first of all, Carl Weathers. Carl Weathers, fantastic. I love him, and of course
I've always liked Carl Weathers.
I've liked him too. He got his breakthrough role. That was Rocky. He did Rocky 1 through 4. So 1976 to 1984, he had a steady paycheck, and of course he was fantastic in those roles. Then he did Predator in 1987. And the success of Predator is really what gave him the support to do a movie that he was starring in. Unfortunately, this movie kind of killed his career based on the underwhelming response to this movie. and the fact that the studios were starting to move away from movies starring confident black men. So, Matthew, there's a whole blaxploitation thing I want to get into with this.
Yeah, because I've noticed that as well. I was disappointed.
And then you guys know, so this sort of killed his role. He only really had bit parts after this. Do you guys know what his comeback movie was?
No.
No.
I know there was something he's in other than those big ones. I'm trying to remember what it was.
Chubbs and Happy Gilmore.
There it is. That's a great movie.
It's a great movie. And then he came back, and then he's been in all kinds of stuff until he died. So, Matthew, maybe can you explain blaxploitation to these guys? I don't know if they're familiar with the genre.
So actually it was it'll be like a year ago in 2 weeks after my cancer surgery, and I was holed up here in this room with a catheter and not able to move, and I watched almost every blaxploitation movie ever made and totally got into the genre, and they were so fantastic. So essentially, black actors, black directors, black stories. They couldn't break into mainstream Hollywood, so they started making their own on low budgets. Mm-hmm. But the low budgetness was the charm, and there's so many good movies, right? So many good movies in blaxploitation. So and then people, mainstream Hollywood started trying to make it mainstream. Yeah, that's all I know, Olen, really.
No, that's all you need to know. You're exactly right, and it was a whole category. My favorite from that era was Shaft, of course, 1971. Superfly, Black Caesar, Dolomite, like these movies, they're super fun movies. But this was the last of them, and Hollywood was turning away from them at this time. So that's kind of one of the problems.
And this is actually part of it is in my worst parts where a black action lead in '88 was still rare. There's only a few people. If you think of the population of the United States and the world versus you have Eddie Murphy and name three others sort of thing, right? But I think the problem with this one is the film completely neutralized that significance.
Yeah.
Because Jackson doesn't meaningfully disrupt any power, and he doesn't expose the system. He navigates it, and it's not radical; it's containment. So I think they lost an opportunity. You can see Hollywood going weak on strong black characters right here in this film.
Yeah. Yeah, and I think, Josh, you hit on it earlier. I think one of the things that really killed this film was the story. I don't know that the Auto Workers Union is really an exciting base for a story, but I can bring some of the trivia forward on this and tell you.
In the 70s, it would have been, right? It's
I guess in Detroit, yeah.
Yeah, in Detroit, because I grew up just actually oddly kind of south of Detroit, but even though I'm in Canada, just the way it all goes, because southwestern Ontario, Windsor is south of Detroit. It's really funny, but yeah, I grew up with, and my father worked just on the river, so I grew up with auto workers. So it was big, especially in the 70s. Yeah, so it would have been meaningful to us there at the time. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I know from the trivia that the writer of this movie, so this is his first gig writing a movie. He was sort of a punch-up writer and contributor before. His first time writing a movie, and they only gave him 6 weeks. So his first ever script, and he wrote the entire thing, including all of the action sequences, wrote them all through in 6 weeks. So that kind of...
and that's... I used to start some emails with, sorry, this email's so long, I didn't have enough time to write a short one, right? Because you just got to get it all down, and then you edit, and that's the problem with this film, right? Too much talking, not enough editing, right?
Which is shocking for an hour-and-a-half movie, too.
Yeah.
And it irritated me with that right away. I don't want to spoil the categories, but in worst parts, I had that opening scene with the police chief in that full exposition. You basically just got Action Jackson standing there, and the police chief is explaining to him all of everything that got him up to this point. It was so boring.
That's we're jumping into worse parts. But every time something interesting is about to happen, somebody explains it instead. Right?
Show me.
Also,
exactly.
This is always a problem for me with these action movies, but especially a dialogue heavy one like this. But the dialogue's so low, and then the explosions are 10 times that. So you have it up so you can hear the dialogue,
yes.
And then your speakers get blown out the first gunshot that goes off.
My husband was like, "What the hell are you watching? Turn it down!"
Yes.
As soon as there's an explosion, I'm like, "Oh, sorry," and then it goes back up again.
Yeah. But by the way, I'll tease you guys. The trivia is the real star of this movie, but
Perfect.
We'll get there. So let me ask this. Would any of you guys become a cop after getting a law degree? Do you think that's a common thing?
No.
No.
Oh my God. That was...
Unless you were a really, really, really bad lawyer. Like, sometimes,
I feel like the pay of a really bad lawyer still got to be better than a cop, though, isn't it?
It is.
A little safer.
It definitely is. But I just loved his apartment just lined with law books. Like he's going home at night after his cop duties and reading up on the law.
Yeah,
that's
it's
good.
like it's so weird because you have the lawyers are supposed to be the intelligence and the cops are supposed to be the muscle, right?
And he still uses excessive force when he's bringing people in. Yeah, I had a couple of notes on this film. Things I like about the 80s. First of all, always going through the windows instead of taking the elevator. Like I'm pretty sure there was no one guarding the elevator. Just go up the elevator. Bad guys that look like 80s hair bands.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's good stuff. So if you're a cop, what do you think is a better cop name? Action Jackson, Shaft, or Dirty Harry?
Ooh, those are some good ones.
I'd want to be called Shaft because it has other connotations.
Yeah, I was going to say, I definitely wouldn't want to be called Dirty Harry because of other connotations.
See, Action Jackson wins.
The thing about this movie is it's not terrible. It's mildly competent, and that and like that also is what pisses me off. It's mildly competent but strangely sleepy. It's like, how did you go? I'm just going back to what you said earlier. Like, how did you manage to ruin it? Right?
Yeah, like I was enjoying myself through lots of it, but yeah, it just wasn't enough to. I wouldn't tell people to go seek it out. I'd say it's enjoyable. You'll get enjoyment out of it, but
Yeah, I agree. I wouldn't be like, oh, don't watch that. I'm like, it's watch it. There's some good bits.
Well, they kind of brought it home with a car driving up the stairs, right?
That's definitely the one. I will say one thing I do love about action movies, because the thing where you'll be watching a movie and if you're I don't know, maybe you're not like me, but if you'd be like, ooh, I kind of hope this thing happens, and then if it does, you feel a little smarter, and then action movies always pay that off. So the second I saw that little car and that big staircase, I was like, baby, he better drive that thing up there. And when he did, I was so happy.
Oh yeah, that was the best.
Yeah.
I definitely have that. That's my number one best part, was that car scene. Before we get into best parts, though, I got a couple quick questions for you guys. So, Anthony, would you take the job as auto union president if the last three had been murdered?
Well, if the pay's good and the power.
And from what I can tell, they were murdered like the day after. Like one was murdered, then the next was murdered the next day. But the pay
I could
is
be the
good,
guy
right.
to change it.
Josh, is a heroin needle an appropriate gift for your girlfriend? And what anniversary is that for?
Yeah, I don't know. She seemed excited about it. I'll say that.
Although it wasn't cheap, right? It was a nice one.
Yeah, it was. I like this movie's like version of heroin. Where did he stick her with that, Neil? Just into her midsection, it seemed like?
It's hard to tell.
It didn't really go. I just like that people just, I don't know, just, she was also off heroin like 2 days, and she's like, hey, I'm better. It's great.
I thought that like when he pulled out that needle and it looked all like super weird and there's like little cartridges, I thought there was going to be some kind of plot where that was like some new drug or something that was going to work.
100%. I thought the same thing.
Yeah.
But
They didn't really go back to that.
They really didn't go back to it.
So the whole thing about you were asking about union leaders. So I have Tommy Douglas's cape.
Right. I know this.
So I have I have the cape of an old union big boss.
Well, don't get shot. Don't stand next to any trees at dinner parties.
I didn't know that he was so dramatic, Tommy Douglas.
Yeah, well, I think it's kind of a 70s. Remember the 70s around capes? It's like an overcoat with cape with a black with a red lining. It's
Interesting.
Good cape weather
and
today.
it's quality, I tell you. I wore it to the opera and to a murder mystery.
Oh, murder mystery. That's a great thing to wear.
Yeah.
Okay, before we move on, Anthony, we just did Smokey and the Bandit. Can you give me a mustache score for Action Jackson?
Oh, probably a 9.5. Tight, clean.
It's up
girth.
there. It's the best. And then, Matthew, do you think the coroner in this movie was competent? He assessed the death of the informant as suicide, the guy who got shot point blank in the chest.
You know, I'm rewatching all of Angela Lansbury's Murder, She Wrote, and I'm seeing lots of incompetent, what do we call them? Not morticians.
Coroner.
Coroners, yes, and he could have been a coroner on Murder, She Wrote. So yes, he was incompetent.
I got a buddy who's a coroner. I got to ask him, but it just made me laugh so much. It's like, suicide. There's a giant hole in his chest.
Yeah, and there was bits of clipboard lodged in the bullet wound. We don't know where that came from.
Oh, yeah. Okay, well, let's dive right into best parts. And I'm going to start it by saying just Carl Weathers. Like, I don't know why this guy wasn't a bigger star. Even with this movie, I don't know why he had such a lull in his career. He's the best.
Well, and yeah, it made me sad you running down is that it took, Predator's amazing. But even I thought Rocky was really good, so it's weird that it took him to be in 5 box office destroying movies before they're like, yeah, let's give this guy his own vehicle.
I know, and what do you want from an action star? What else do you want? Did you see him running? Like, he could lap Tom Cruise. No, he was good. Okay, best parts, what do you guys have?
So I have Carl Weathers acting. Carl Weathers' body. He looks like he could punch a car alarm into silence. Craig T. Nelson actually understood the assignment more than the script did. I think he could have been better with a better script. Detroit as a backdrop is cool. Like the factories and the concrete and the late 80s grit. That was it's so Detroit 80s. And Sharon Stone spotting. So a reminder that stars often begin life in odd corners of Hollywood.
Yeah, because she was not good in this, but I do think she's a good actress in later movies.
Yeah, and there's just little bits, and you're like, hey, she became something bigger after this.
You make a good point, Matthew. I forgot to call it out, but this is really an amazing who's who of 80s movies. With Craig T. Nelson, you got Biff from Back to the Future. You got evil Huey Lewis from Die Hard, whatever his name is. You got Billy Bear from 48 Hours. And then Sharon Stone, of course. And Sharon didn't make it big until Total Recall 2 years later. And this is a Predator reunion.
Did you know that Huey Lewis has a famously massive cock?
Did not.
No, that's not on his Wikipedia page, so I didn't know that.
You guys are now trying to Google.
We are not.
You might want to cut that out for radio.
Cut that out for the kids. Okay, we're on best parts. I'll say it again: the driving up the stairs scene that made the whole movie worthwhile. Like even if the rest had been total shit, which it wasn't, that made it worthwhile. Now running after the cab, I love that scene, even though it's kind of a Lethal Weapon ripoff. Chasing down a car on foot. I still love that. That was good.
Yeah, there was a lot of good, not to dip into the quotes too much, but there was a lot of great quotes and just dialogue back and forth, even if the plot itself wasn't the greatest.
I also say one of my favorite things about 80s cop movies, the fact that cops can do their job even despite all the collateral damage. They can just do whatever they want. I mean, there's clearly people dying left and right in this movie.
Yeah, and I also love the portrayal of that as anytime they went to the precinct, the chaos in the background that these cops are going through. It's like, oh man.
Yeah, I had that as one of my notes. Why does every 80s cop station have like a sweaty, unorganized hot box? It's
just in absolute disarray.
And I had one small one from the movie here. No arms and no legs jokes. For some reason, I just love those jokes. Man with no arms and no legs lying next to a hole. Doug.
Man with no arms and legs in a hole.
Phil.
Hanging on a wall.
Art.
Floating
in the water.
Bob. So these are all 80. The kids are like, yeah, we're like, yeah, these are the 80 jokes, guys. I don't know if they came over to you guys, but
no, thankfully, no.
Here's one for you, Matthew. Man with no arms and no legs with rabbits up his ass.
Peter
Warren.
Oh.
Okay.
All I could think was Peter Rabbit.
We'll move on. I know we're all anxious to get to the favorite line part, but worst parts. And I said already the exposition, like just I'm going to explain to you what's happening.
Yeah.
Was so bad.
Yeah, exposition overload. The whole, I said this earlier, the whole black lead being wasted by just boringness, romance by genre requirement. There's like no chemistry or anything here where it's just, it was just stupid to even put any kind of maybe romance in. And there's no escalation. Scenes happen, then politely conclude and nothing spirals. That's what I wrote.
Yeah, I feel like they leaned way too heavily into the development of the bad guy than Action Jackson.
Oh yeah.
Ooh. Also, love with Craig T. Nelson. Love the another thing I love about '80s action movies is the stunt double. Like the fact, the thought of Craig T. Nelson being this karate master, I thought was really great because I don't think he could really pull off those high kicks as much as this stunt double did.
I had that as worst part. Craig T. Nelson is a martial artist. By the way, I do love bad guys when they're training. They always break their trainer's arm.
Yes.
And it's like, shit, I'm not coming back. This was not worth the $80 for this session.
Olen, can really muscly guys be martial artists?
Well, they're usually slower. Yeah.
Right.
They're slower in their movements, so...
Because most of the big guys I know just like lift the weights, right? And there's not a lot of flexibility.
That's the thing movies get wrong is they have the really, really big guys as the tough guys. I mean, they're solid. Like it's tough to get through them, but no, they can't punch fast. They can't move fast.
And I believe also, like the actual science I remember hearing once is like that when your muscles, you need oxygen to your muscles. So the bigger you are, the more gas you're going to get early.
Another bad part about the karate I had in this movie was they were training in socks on hardwood. That's just good luck.
Yeah.
Yeah, but when you transfer that over to shoes on solid ground, you're going to be
That's true.
you're
That's
going to go up.
Yeah. Practice in case a fight goes down in socks, right? 'Cause you don't have time to take your socks off if it's really going down.
I missed one part in best parts that I wanted to talk about that I loved was him trying to get into the girls' dressing room and then trying to keep punching that security guard who just absorbed it every time.
Yeah.
And then they just have like a 2-second conversation. He'd be like, "Oh, so you're a big guy. Okay, well." And then he tries to punch him again. He's like, "All right, that didn't work." And back to the conversation. Then before he just plowed him into the door. I thought that was good.
Yeah, and that was another part of 80s movies that I love, and it happened multiple times in this movie. You throw a guy at a door, you don't just bust the lock. Like, the doors come right off the hinges completely. I always love that.
That does happen, though. I put my brother through a door and the entire door came out.
Really? Wow.
Yeah.
Action
But it
Mathew.
was one of those half-folding sliding doors in the basement, so it was a little bit wobbly. But yeah, he went all the way through it.
Wow.
That was our one big fight. My mom came down, and we're like, "Ugh," and we stop. And she just goes, "Andy, give me your glasses." She took his glasses. She went back upstairs. She's like, we're like 16, big, we're the height we are now. She's like, I'm just protecting the glasses. I don't want to pay for another pair. I can leave these two to either kill them each other or one of them will be dead and I'll just have to deal with the one son in the end.
Okay. A couple more worst parts for me. Kissing a dead girl. Next, Vanity's song scene. She was a terrible singer. That scene was way too long. And the singing and the dancing, why are you guys dragging this out for 5 minutes? It was horrible.
I feel like she worked that into her contract or something.
There is a sadness when you see a one-name actor come up in like title credits, and you're like, well, I've never heard of them, so I don't think it took off for them.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. That is a great insight. It's like you actually feel worse because they think they're going to be something huge because it's just one name, right? And it's like, oh, darling, no. So either the name, they thought they're going to be something huge, or somebody discovered them and they're just a stripper or something, right?
Well, after her first number, after her first song, Josh, I looked her up because I thought to myself, why didn't they get a singer? So I looked her up and I'm like, oh, they did get a singer. She's just not good. Okay, favorite lines. This is a rich section.
I actually don't have any because after the movie ended, there were so many words in an action film that I couldn't even remember any of them. And it felt it could just say it then explain it again film, and I couldn't even think, and I didn't want to go back and try to find them or research it. I'm like, did any lines stick out to me? And none did.
Well, let me ask you this, Matthew. Is it a compliment if I say that your mother was molested by Bigfoot and you were the result?
Actually, that'd be kind of a cool compliment, not towards my mother, but like, Bigfoot's cool. I'd love to call Bigfoot daddy.
All right. What do you guys got?
I like when he was on the roof of the taxi and he was trying everything to get him off, and he's like, "Enough is enough," and he does like a front flip over it, and
Oh, also one punched out a whole windshield. That was amazing. Just-
If anyone could do it, Carl could do it.
That's what I go with too. I can suspend my disbelief there.
I saw the same thing.
But see, you guys are talking about the good action parts, and
Yeah, no.
not the words,
Not
because
dialogue.
there's just too many words to remember any.
I will say there was one line that stuck out for me because one character I did like was the old boxer that was running the motel or hotel or whatever it was.
Yeah.
And I liked after Carl Weathers went to that bar to find Pop Doc, and then they showed him his nuts in a jar in the thing, and then when he goes back, the guy's like, "Oh, he's dead. His nuts are actually in a jar." It's like, yeah, thanks. I know.
Oh, that same guy. I liked when the two cops walked in and he says, "Can I get you guys a double bed?"
There's something about, like, there's that trope that I like in movies of, like, the old boxer or the old, like, the washed up guy, but still kind of like has a sense of humor. You know?
He was great, and his footwork that was
Yeah.
hilarious.
That was good. And then I liked that even the old crotchety detective that didn't like Action Jackson was like, "Oh, you're that famous boxer. That's cool."
How about it was a regular fuckorama at my house last night? That was from Biff. Any other lines?
nothing I can remember. Like Matthew said, I remember enjoying the dialogue between a lot of them, but just nothing made me want to write it down, really.
Yeah, I can remember some funny ones, but they're gone. It's not like I'll be back or anything.
Yeah, nothing stuck with me really.
And I think it's also a fact that probably goes to show how well this movie didn't do, because it wasn't, the lines weren't reiterated, right? Because if you saw like the movie with "I'll be back," you might not remember it, but because everyone was saying it, you remember it, right?
Right. And then he was doing the puns when the guy had the torch at him.
Yeah.
He was, and then just was upset by those, but it was kind
But
of cool.
he delivered them all like they were going to be classics, right?
Yes.
Okay. Well, let me tell you guys how this
He
movie
delivered them like he was Vanity. Oh, and isn't it great that the name was Vanity as well?
Yes. That's a nice little extra layer there.
Total stripper name.
I got trivia about her. Okay, I'm going to tell you guys how this did. So, according to Box Office Mojo Worldwide, Action Jackson was the 49th biggest earner at the box office in 1988. Who Framed Roger Rabbit was the biggest earner this year, and Action Jackson was beat by one of Matthew's favorite movies, Cocktail. It was also beat by other action movies, Die Hard and Rambo 3.
Rightly so.
But it wasn't the bottom of the heap. Action Jackson beat out Cocoon: The Return,
Ugh.
and it also beat out They Live.
Oh, that makes me sad.
Me too, because that's such a great movie.
At least that one definitely had cult status to back it up. So
They
it's good.
Live is so much better than Action Jackson.
Well, Action Jackson did better. Rain Man was the Oscar winner this year, and I definitely prefer Action Jackson to Raymond. Budget for this movie. God, I should make you guys guess the budget instead of the box office.
Oh, it's
I'm
probably
gonna
like
say-
30 million or something ridiculous.
Yeah, I was going to say 30 as well.
Josh, what do you think the budget was to make this?
I'll go even lower. I'll just say like 15. I'll half it.
Well, 15 is what they wanted. This was $7 million, the budget.
Wow.
That
$7
makes
million.
more sense.
So this is the second element that killed the movie, right? Script was one. Second is the budget was just choked, because from what I hear, it takes about $15 million to do a half-decent action film in those days. So $7 million budget, box office was $20 million. So, and now it's a cult classic. So it actually wasn't that bad.
Is it actually
Is it
a cult?
is it a cult classic? Olen?
I think it is.
Are you really?
I feel like back then, I bet you most of that box office was the first week or two, and then once everyone kind of saw it and spread the word, it just fizzled right out.
Well, we'll find out when we do Rotten Tomatoes. But one thing I will say is this was Laura Mar Studios, who went out of business. But this was actually one of their more successful movies. So
And it's decent return, 3 times basically their money. So
Yeah, they made money.
Okay, so the fun part, Rotten Tomatoes. So we had some fun with this movie. Do you think critics liked it, and do you think the audience actually liked it?
I'm gonna say critics 35, audience 45.
Yeah, I don't think critics were kind to it. I'll say they did like, I'll say 40, and then I bet I could see, like, if you're saying it's cult status, maybe the audience will go like 70.
Critics. What did you say critics were? 34. I'm going to Price is Right you. 34. Audience, 50.
Okay, lately you guys, your scores have been getting pretty good, but no longer. Critics 19
Ooh,
and audience 35.
wow.
So Anthony, you actually win this with a 26.
Boom.
Oh, my
Matthew,
first time ever.
you were a 30, and Josh, you were a 56. You were way
Yeah.
off. See,
Damn.
Suck, Josh.
you enjoyed it. You enjoyed it, so you thought everyone else would, but that is apparently not the case.
It's because you threw him off by saying it's cult classic.
Yeah.
Josh and I could completely disagree with you.
The cult classic just brings it up from a 5.
Yeah,
Exactly.
that's true. That's true. Okay, movie trivia for you guys. So I said trivia was going to be the star of this. At least I think the trivia is interesting. First thing, did you guys know that Carl Weathers played for the BC Lions in the 72-73 season?
No,
I have
had
heard
no
that.
idea.
that's cool.
Did you guys? I know it's not related to this, but you guys know that The Rock, Dwayne Johnson, played for the BC Lions in '95.
I did
He
know
did
that one.
not.
Yeah.
Yeah, he did.
Yep.
Wow.
Okay. Carl Weathers came up for the idea of the film when he was doing Predator during conversations with producer Joel Silver about their shared love of blaxploitation films. So they were really trying to lean into that, Matthew. The title was born after an Australian on the set said, "I'm in like Action Jackson."
Okay.
Filming ran over schedule by 3 months as it took that long for the cast to get their heads around the overly complicated plot.
Overly complicated.
Real method
Okay.
actors.
I.e. overly written plot, right?
Okay, so you guys know Paula Abdul?
Yeah.
Dancer singer. She did the choreography for this movie, and apparently there wasn't a lot of dance in it. Apparently she did the choreography for all of the action sequences,
That's
Oh my God.
amazing.
which I'm like, wow, that blew my mind. Okay, now we get to Vanity.
That's actually really
Explains all the spinning
fascinating.
kicks.
Yeah, there was a lot of spin kicks.
It does.
And the popping.
So Vanity was actually a singer. That's what surprised me. But she was a Prince protege. She was supposed to be in Purple Rain and didn't quite make it. But he helped her get her career, quote unquote, going. And her band was called Vanity Six, an all-girl band. And I have never heard of it.
Love, I feel like it's not a good sign when the person you're a protege of is like, listen, I'm not going to put you in my thing, but I'm sure it's going to work out for you.
Yeah.
And then here's the sad trivia on Vanity. She died because of heroin use at 56.
Oh, no.
So she was on this film apparently like sneaking out and doing coke and heroin all the time while she was filming this. And she
I mean, coke I can understand, but how do you do heroin and film?
Oof.
Like,
She's a method
'cause
actress.
It's a very different. Coke, you're gonna be still up and ready to roll. But
the way the story goes is that as soon as filming wrapped, every day she ran to her trailer and shot up.
poor
But
thing. I feel so.
Yeah, that's
terrible
really
to have an
sad.
addiction like that. That's sad. Now I feel bad for making fun of her. So her issue.
Well, especially with her character arc, too. Like, that's...
Yeah, and to be honest, and that's I made that joke in an earlier podcast when the eagle had died. I said, "What did he die of? A overdose, right?" From because it happens so often, and that makes me sad that her career probably didn't take off because she just got into that crap, right? Maybe she had a chance, and
Yeah.
blew it.
well, she did some good at the end of her life. So the story goes, I mean, she did heroin and cocaine until she basically blew out her kidneys. So she was super sick. She lived a few years after that, but quit all the drugs and then went on to become an evangelist, leaned deep into religion and started, telling kids not to do drugs. So maybe some good came of it.
Yeah, maybe she saved one kid. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And then here is my favorite piece of trivia on this. So you guys remember the yacht explosion?
Yeah.
I had to go back and watch it to check this fact. The budget was so low for this movie, they couldn't afford to blow up a yacht and they couldn't afford to blow up a model. So they made a giant picture of a yacht. They put it on a flat deck barge, floated it in the water, and blew up the picture.
That's awesome.
When you went back and looked at it, did it look like a picture?
Yes and no. Like you can't really tell, although you can sort of see the paper and the posts from the side flying out. But yeah, it actually worked.
I didn't pick that up the first time, so
No,
I kind of love the gumption of a movie that's not given the money to do what they want, and they find a nice workaround like that.
Yeah, that's cool.
I do too. And I mean, the other thing I love about these movies is the practical effects, right? Before CGI.
Yeah, if you're getting
definitely.
$7 million and probably at least half of that's going to your stars, that's
Yeah, and then
hard to start.
Got to be $1 million in breakaway glass they spent on this one.
Absolutely.
For sure. No, the budget was so small they had to like glue it all back. That's why it ran over. That's why it ran over by 3 months. They had to like find all the pieces and glue them together like with a huge jigsaw.
Quick stop at woke or joke here. So I've got two of them. You guys have any guesses?
I didn't see anything really. It's
Okay, well, let me tell you what I think. So first of all, I think bullying a girl into helping you by driving super fast towards the wall,
Yeah,
that's probably not cool. But it worked.
it worked. He
power
gets
move.
results. He gets
but
results. Action
that's
Jackson.
not woke or not. It's just
Okay.
I
being a
wouldn't
bit of an
trust those
asshole.
brakes back then.
I write the episodes. I can put it where I want.
You're hilarious.
How about this for woke or joke?
I have control.
Acting like he's some kind of union boss with all this power.
Yeah. Woo.
How,
Can I have your cape?
how about the black guys all look the same parts? Like, give me your red shirt. I'm going to be you.
I was mostly sad because that probably would have worked, and that's the saddest part of that.
He had the same mustache
he was,
too.
He was in a red shirt and he did it. Must have
Yeah.
been Carl Weathers.
That was definitely Action Jackson. He had a red shirt. I know it was him. Yeah, so that part was hilarious. And I didn't know whether to mention it in best or worst parts, but the fact that the killer was sitting in a tree in the middle of the cocktail party, I'm like, you're going to get caught. Like, you're definitely getting caught.
Yeah, we didn't mention it, like you said, but that death was great. All the bulbs just exploding around him.
Death by Christmas lights.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Then impaled by a fence or something. That's good.
Oh, yeah. And then he was still had one last move left in him, right? I'm going to grab you. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, however you guys felt about this movie, I promise you there's people who liked it more or less than you. For this movie, there were only 8 10-star reviews out of 96 total reviews, so it's actually a little thin. D. Gordon says it wasn't meant to be an Academy Award winner, but it set out to do what it intended to do. I'm glad to see it on DVD because I wore out my VHS copy. I have to agree. The next reviewer says Vanity and Sharon Stone are perfect eye candy who can act. I disagree with that.
Well, Vanity was beautiful.
She was beautiful. Sharon Stone was beautiful, but both of those, the acting was terrible.
Yeah.
Still, Sharon Stone, come on the pod. Somebody called Drunk too. That's a good name. Some say he didn't even have a mother and he was created by NASA to be the first man to walk on the moon without a spacesuit. Well, they're all wrong. He's actually just the most badass cop in all of Motown. And then someone called Generation of Swine gives what I think is actually a fair assessment. It's an 80s kids movie that was made for adults. Falls under childhood classic. That sums it up nicely. Now we hear from people who liked it less. For this movie, there were only 3 people who gave this a 1-star review compared to the 8 who gave it a 10-star review. A mixture of Lethal Weapon, Airplane, and Beverly Hills Cop, all done badly. Next reviewer.
great.
So
Good.
Lorimar was the production company that did this. So this reviewer says, I liked Lorimar for Full House series, but hate them for this. And Credline says, the fact that this film was named after an action figure doll from the 70s says it all. But actually, that's incorrect. There was never an Action Jackson doll. Siskel and Ebert, you guys think they liked it?
No.
No.
Okay, well, Ebert described the movie as an incoherent mess that unsuccessfully tried to blend comedy with explicit violence, leaving him feeling dizzy. He said that while Carl Weathers was a capable actor, he lacked the leading man charisma necessary for this role.
I don't agree with that.
No, I think he's got leading man charisma. This movie should have worked. It should have worked.
Yeah.
Siskel criticized the film's cliche nature, dismissing it as an idiot version of the established action tropes that failed to offer any original or inspired humor. They both said it was a senseless and boring script. 2 thumbs down.
Yep. It was.
Mm-hmm.
So, remake or sequel, do you guys think it deserved one?
Yes, absolutely remake it.
Yep.
The idea is better than the execution. Rewrite it. Like, call it action. Keep the name. Have a hot black guy as the lead. Strip out the exposition. Let the action breathe. Make the corruption actually scary. And then redo it.
Well, and like you were saying, too, before, like, I think it's important also to have, maybe a black writer, black director. Get some people that actually have some stake in it working.
Yeah, I'd make it like a blaxploitation, proper one with you're absolutely right. Black director, right? Black producer, something like that.
How about this?
They would get it right.
Michael J. White as the lead.
Oh yeah, my doppelganger.
Can I be the guy that oils him up?
Absolutely.
Get in line.
The fluffer, I think they're called.
Anthony, we passed over it, but that's a perfect casting.
That is really good.
Yeah, he's great.
Who else would be in it? Who would be Sharon Stone? Who would be Vanity?
I want to know who Delaplane would be. You need evil white guy who can do martial arts.
Even older Craig T. Nelson.
Steven Seagal? Steven Seagal is Delaplane?
Oh, boy.
He's greasy enough.
You could use the grease from him to oil up Michael J. White.
Hilarious. Well, I'll tell you guys, it didn't have a sequel. I mean, this was actually financially successful enough, but then it sort of, I think it was a little bit underwhelming at the box office, but also it got lost when the studio went out of business and it got sold and the rights were tied up. So they actually did make a sort of sequel to this. They didn't have the rights to it anymore. So they made a similar action film in Australia with similar character to Action Jackson, and they called it Hurricane Smith. And it was Carl Weathers. So Carl Weathers basically tried to do this again as Hurricane Smith.
I mean, I'm going to be honest. I think that name is even cooler.
Oh, really?
Hurricane Smith? Absolutely.
Well, it got a 27 on Rotten Tomatoes, but I'm going to blame the fact that he shaved his mustache for that one.
That's a no-go.
That's a total no-go. So we are at the end of this. This was actually a pretty fun episode. I really liked this movie. I'll say it again. I wish it had worked. I wanted it to work. And I think if you watch the second half only, it's a pretty good watch. But
so older gold.
Is it too old or pure gold? That's the question.
I think old, not because it's dated, just because it was inert in the first place.
Yeah, it's too old. But I think probably the first time we've all begged for a remake done right.
Yeah, it's true.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's something to it. I guess, sadly, too old, reluctant too old. But I think, I just think it never had a chance because you probably had people who, like you pointed out, Anthony, like the fact that it made 3 times its money, if you made it with some actual money behind it, shouldn't that mean that it would have done really well? If you put people who actually cared about the outcome of the movie. But I sadly think it was to a whole bunch of old Hollywood elites. I don't think they care if there's a black-led action movie. It doesn't really matter to them.
Yeah, no, I don't think they did, and they were really moving away from that at the time. I really want to give it a gold just for Carl Weathers, like he tried so hard, and some of those action scenes. Well, is Action Jackson too old or pure gold?
We're just finishing up the other show.
Oh, don't worry,
We're at the end.
We are at the end, so you just hang on there. You don't have to go anywhere.
Stay there. It's all good.
This is good for you.
I think this was enjoyable to do. It's
my
one of
bad.
these. I'm also learning. One thing I've learned, Olen, in this podcast is to if even if it's a horrible movie, to understand. I'm starting to understand more what goes into movies, especially that since we've had our guests, and
Yeah.
I have a little bit more respect even when it fails. It's like people didn't set out to fail, right? And I also realize, like music, if people like it, they like it. You know what I mean?
Also, you saying like that they gave a guy 6 weeks to write it, rush
Yeah.
job.
Yeah.
That's
The
all
new
that.
guy.
All that
I've been-
information really made me appreciate it a little bit more, I would say.
Yeah, me too.
I do like
I've been
I do
there,
like
right?
having sometimes you go in with or you watch the movie, you come in here with a perspective, and then you learn those kinds of things, and you're like, oh, maybe I didn't hate it as much as I thought I did.
Yeah. Despite all that, I guess
Because
it
we've
kinda
all
made
been
a-
there where you've been given too short a time and nobody listens, and it's like, well, it's not going to be great, but it'll be
If
done, right?
If you want me to, if you want me to oil up Carl Weathers, you give me the time to do it. Damn it!
Can't rush that.
And the budget. I mean, that's P. Diddy level oil, right? Hey, you guys have pushed me over the line, and I'm going to call it pure gold. I mean, I think if you like 80s action cop movies, like it delivered what it promised. I agree with that reviewer. If you like 80s cop movies, this is fun. And out of respect for Carl Weathers, I'm going to give it a pure gold and say people should watch it because, you know, they got the right guy, they got the right title, but then they just didn't give him a writer or the budget to do it, and the studio kind of abandoned him, in my opinion.
Definitely.
So, I mean, a car drove up a switchback staircase, down a hallway, and into a bedroom.
Very cool.
Like, has that been done before or after? Never.
And I do love smashing glass though, in movies. Like,
By the way, I would have loved to have. I wish they left the camera on him so I could see him do that switchback, because a switchback staircase is the hardest to drive up.
Clearly.
yeah,
I don't know. Spiral's pretty difficult too.
I mean, Tokyo Drift up that
Spiral would be very difficult.
Yeah.
Also, you just reminded me of one of my favorite thing I forgot to talk about. But if you're going into a gunfight, maybe remember to set down the gas can before you walk over there, just in case. Just in case someone has a flamethrower.
Hey, just a shout out. Nicole had a friend over who was watching that scene when he goes up the stairs, and his comment was like, "Oh, good handicap access in that house." That was funny. Okay, guys, thanks for doing this episode.
Bye.